Welcome to another episode of Recap with Matt for the week of June 27th. My name is Misty Brown, and my exquisite co-host is
Jennifer Gillis.
Welcome to another episode, Mac. What's going on? What kind of info can you give us? What kind of updates you got?
Well, first, I want to alert everyone, in case they did not see it on our webinar, that we are going to be holding a 10th anniversary or recognition event of this battle that started back in 2016. And there was a rally that was held in front of the White House on September the 13th. And so we're going to use that as our kickoff event. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to do it in Lafayette Park, where the original rally took place, because of construction activity at the White House, and they've closed the park down. But we'll be close to the White House, and we want to invite every advocate to attend. We will also do a series of meetings on the following 2 days, the 14th and 15th, and really make this a tremendous opportunity to meet with executive branch agency representatives, with congressional people, to have a hearing, we hope, on Kratom and its benefits. And we're going to focus on veterans, because in our recent congressional briefing, one thing that resonated with congressional staffers and spiked their interest, or piqued their interest in hearing more, was how veterans have benefited from the use of Kratom. So we're going to look into that in terms of being able to share veteran stories as one of our focus during this event. But everyone should plan for that if they can. Now, the issue here is going to be how you get there. We've tried in the past to obviously link vendors who are willing to sponsor people to come, advocates to come. We'll do that, but I think that we have enough time here that I hope people will, sort of reach out to their friends, do essentially a GoFundMe in order to pay the expenses to get there into Washington, D.C. So we want to have as many people as we can attend that are willing and capable of doing so. So that'd be a great event.
Can we do like a fundraiser or something? You know, remember like how back in the day you guys used to do like a Giving Tuesday type thing?
Yeah, we can look into that. I think the complexity of being able to cover people is hard, right? So I think if every individual that wants to come is just able to reach out among their friends and their support network, I think that's probably a more efficient way and effective way of doing this. I'm open to ideas. There's no question that we'd like to help everyone that we can. I particularly want to get some help for the person who really needs to be there, Robin Graham, and we want to make sure that she is able to get off her butt and get to Washington, D.C., because she didn't participate in the first rally. Now, her explanation for that was that that she was arranging things, organizing rides, and that kind of thing. May all be true, but it's a little bit thin, in my estimation, to constantly hear her harping about how advocates have to get involved. And maybe we just give her the opportunity to actually do something that would be a part of this event. So I hope she
I would love to meet her.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to meet her.
and I think other people that we have some tensions with are invited too. This is going to be really an opportunity for advocates to speak up. We are not and will not advocate for those that think that 7OH should be available. That is not a message that we want anyone in the Congress to hear, because it is not consistent with our values. It's something that too many people are giving a free pass to the 7OH community, that doesn't hold them accountable for what the federal laws are. It doesn't give a full picture of what the risks and threats are. So to 7OH opioid products, and so we're not gonna entertain that nonsense where that we have mixed messages here. But we welcome all true natural leaf kratom product advocates to participate in this event. We look forward to it, and we'll kind of work on it.
No, we're live right now. Yeah, because I said in my last stream, if you take, advocate, or associate with anything regarding 7OH, you are responsible for the downfall of kratom. And right now, what us advocates are doing, we are mopping up the mess from the mixed messages that are being sent to these lawmakers and policymakers and all that stuff. I don't appreciate it. I don't. Because what's saving me is in the crosshairs because of that crap.
Well, and I'll just give an example. The latest, and it's a stream of misinformation, but the latest tactic that Vince Sanders is now using, who is one of the leading manufacturers of 7OH materials that are then white labeled and sent out across the country, is he's saying, oh, well, our basis for safety was that we were on the market pre-1994. Now, that's an interesting thought, because, again, it goes back to his argument that naturally occurring levels of 7OH that are in kratom material therefore justifies what he's doing with this production of 7OH. There is no question, none, zip zero, that the 7OH existed in the product formulations that he's claiming prior to his big splash marketing back in 2023. But we now know by his admission that it occurred earlier than that. And it certainly was in early 2024. We think that in 2022, we think clearly that he was on the market before that, and they just kind of leaped into their market splash. But the most important thing is the products that they're marketing. These are opioids, because they've chemically manipulated them. They are designed to bypass completely the metabolism process in our bodies. They go right to the bloodstream, right to the brain, give you that euphoric high. They give you that big boost, and 2 hours later you crash, and then you're craving it, and that leads to addiction. That's what they're doing. And I'm fascinated to hear the explanations that people like Andrew Kolodny make, and he did it in Georgia, and he did it up in New York, is that he talks about how kratom is naturally is also in this category because your body produces 7OH. What he doesn't say, and he won't, because he's a charlatan in this area, he wants to say that that's what's happening, but the process that your liver uses in the metabolism of the liver converting kratom and metrogene into 7OH is so slow that the peak levels never get even close to what a 7OH product does. And that's because your body's natural defense systems work. And kratom is part of that process. And for them to mischaracterize this, and deliberately so, by the way, is just part of their master plan that they're going to attack kratom products. But 7OH people are using that too. They say, oh, it's the same thing because 7OH is created by your liver. It's nuts, because there is no way that they can justify the comparison of 7OH in the natural metabolism process of the liver to what a 7OH product does and how it delivers, and what they're doing today in order to bypass the the natural body process completely, go right to the bloodstream, and oh, I don't know, it's an opioid. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, it's destroying lives and it's destroying the Kratom name. Period.
Yeah. We have a quick question for you because Andrew can't stay for the whole live, but can Mac talk about the import warning? It was brought up in Georgia, and now Kolodny using it as a talking point in Suffolk.
Yeah, this shows you that Andrew Kolodny appears to be a person who has very frontal cortex in his brain. He sees a word, and suddenly that converts into some authoritative statement about it. And when he was up in New York, he literally talked about the import alert. He said, well, I'm not an expert on this, but then he acted like an expert, and then he made a fool of himself because he does not understand this process. The import alert is established against all adulterated kratom products. No question about that. If they are going to be used for the purpose of a therapeutic benefit. And that's the import alert. And our beef with the FDA has always been that they don't express it correctly in the way that the import alert is applied. But the courts have forced the FDA to appropriately address this. So here's the truth of the matter. If you are importing kratom into the United States, you submit a form to the FDA, and you tell them you're bringing in kratom. You tell them you characterize it for what it is, and then they, when it arrives, have the opportunity to either detain it or let it go. And there have been dozens of cases where there have been detentions of kratom products, and those products are all released. So if Andrew Kolodny were right, and he's not, if he weren't such a fool that he is, he would have researched this better and understood it. And then when he makes a fool of himself, standing up before standing up before this legislature in New York and say, "Oh, this is what the import alert does." I'm not an expert on it. Well, no, you should have said, "Look, I'm an idiot. I don't know anything about it, but I'm going to tell you what I think." I mean, let him say that. But he decided to borrow his credibility, and then he utterly destroyed it. So we don't like the import alert because it is confusing. The confusion's not an excuse for mischaracterizing what that import alert does. And that's the bottom line. And I think one of the legislators asked the right question. Well, if there's an import alert, how come it's all over the place? Well, it's because Andrew Kolodny did not tell the truth about the import alert and the way that it's applied, because he doesn't understand it. He doesn't know anything about it. And the only thing he said during that testimony was correct is, I'm not an expert in this. He's far less than an expert. I mean, that's just goofy. But this is Andrew Kolodny's campaign. He's decided, he wreaked havoc in the opioid pain relief community. And now he's just on another ride, looking for a buck, and coming in, and he's going to be an expert witness. He's going to be this so-called expert. And I'll tell you what's fascinating to me. He has told people that he's now coming back into treating patients. And did you hear what he said up in New York? He said, well, I'm called to consult on cases where people are brought into the hospital and they think it's a kratom overdose. So think about this. He says, every patient I see is now a kratom patient. And he acts like it's common, it's normal, and it's happening when people come in to his office to be evaluated. That's not what's happening. He's being called in as a so-called expert by another doctor to a patient that already self-identified as being a kratom consumer. So is it a surprise that every patient you see is a kratom consumer? Because that's why they ask him to come and talk to him. I mean, the misleading, the utter deception that's involved in this is stunning. So
what is he doing to treat the patient? Giving them Suboxone?
Yeah.
Of course. Now that's one option. I can't speak to what he does actually in the treatment of a patient. All we can observe is what he claims. And God help the person that he's called in to evaluate, because he's probably got a bottle of Suboxone in his pocket that he's going to pass out. I mean, this is just what happens, right? Because he believes that kratom is an opioid. And that's what he said. Kratom is an opioid. Now, of course, he can justify because he's got experts that say it, right? He's got none other than Dr. Gottlieb in 2016, who was completely discredited. Gottlieb said, "Oh, it's an opioid because it does this," and everybody mocked him in the scientific community. And then he tried to say, "Oh, well, it's an opioid because it's in a 2014 textbook," and he mischaracterized what that textbook says. But even if that textbook in 2014 were accurate, we've seen science today. It changes and it evolves and it completely evaluates and discredits what Andrew Kolodny has said. But he needs this for his narrative. He needs to be able to say kratom is an opioid. He desperately needs that to sell his nonsense that kratom is dangerous and that he's out there to protect the public.
You know, what going back to what you were talking about with the like when we went to the DC in June, the staffers, you know, yeah, their ears perked up when we talk about kratom helping veterans. It also perked up when we talked about how these chronic pain patients were left astray, you know, after this whole opioid epidemic happened, you know, which, yes, I am a survivor of the overprescribing opioid epidemic, but it was a me problem, not a substance problem, you know, and now these chronic pain patients today are caught in the middle of that because of Kolodny, you know? And so when we were talking to the staffers about how kratom can help these lost, abandoned pain patients, their ears perked up as well.
I agree, and I think that as we have developed these explanations that will go into policy discussions, that helps them immensely, because the demonization of kratom for that segment of the kratom consumer population that use it to manage acute and chronic pain, there is no better evidence of why that is critically important than what you see what NIH did when they announced their study, which I've preached this, could not proceed without there being an exhaustive, rigorous safety evaluation done by an independent institutional review board. And now we have it. And the idea that anyone wants to stand up and say, "Oh, well, kratom is dangerous." Well, you know, obviously, if someone in their trials that they're working with says, "Okay, I'm going to abuse kratom," maybe they can get to some problem area, but abuse does not mean good public policy. And we haven't seen any evidence that there is a significant problem with kratom use. And I've said it over and over again. If there were, the FDA would take action. They take every single one of these adverse event reports, including every single one of the deaths that are the so-called kratom related or kratom caused. They are evaluated by the FDA, and the output is this. The FDA says that kratom deaths are rare. NIDA says the same thing. And when they do occur, that they are related to polydrug use, which is people using other drugs. And not surprising, kratom might be in their bloodstream because kratom has been proven. And now you have an NIH study that's proceeding that people are using it effectively to get off of opioids, off of illicit drugs. So not surprising it's there. And then you have people that have underlying health conditions that they're suffering with. And then there are unique situations that if you look at the database of so-called kratom deaths, you have people that have drowned, you have people that were shot twice in the chest, which the FDA reported to the DEA, published in the Federal Register as one of the kratom-involved deaths, where they said that it was a kratom death, and the kid died in a drug sting, selling marijuana. So this is what happens, and then you get these people that are hangers on to the truth, and they can't find their way to the real truth, and they just kind of pick and slice it, and they try to cobble together something that is a problem. And that's Andrew Kolodny. He's a bizarre character, and when I've talked to him, it always devolves down to his sitting there acting like, well, I'm just trying to help. I'm just trying to help, and I'm not doing anything wrong here. And the most bizarre part of I've had several with him, but immediately following an hour-long presentation by the NIDA director, Nora Volkow, at the international conference, where Nora Volkow in detail evaluated her assessment of the research and the science had been conducted, saying that kratom was your withdrawal from kratom if you are dependent on it, not addicted, but dependent in the classification of how they evaluate patients and consumers in the use of any product, that you are going to have that 5 to 10 day withdrawal experience, which is a runny nose, upset stomach, and a minor headache. Okay, that's vastly different than people that are addicted to these drugs. Immediately following that presentation, and he was sitting there, and it shows you how people can walk away with their bias and absurd conclusions because he wasn't listening. He told me, "Oh, well, Nora Volkow just said that kratom is highly addictive," and
No,
it's
she
the
didn't.
he didn't say anything close to that, but he believes it. I mean, he walked away delusional. Maybe he was on 7OH when this was
Maybe,
going on. I don't know.
Sounds like it.
maybe he needed to take some kratom so he could focus, like we were sitting there being focused on what was being said.
That's exactly right.
It's like, is it intentional or, I don't know about that guy. I really don't know about that guy.
Got selective
It's
hearing.
it's intentional in the sense they have to support their narrative, and so they will pick and choose comments that are made, and they will somehow shove them into their narrative. How badly contorted it gets at the end, they don't care. So I think that guys like Andrew Kolodny and you've got the Dean Francis with his crusade, which is poorly based, and we can talk more about him. I just did a episode 5 of our End Kratom Misinformation series that examines this closely. We have his 911 call now, where that completely blows up his story. He sat and told the world in a press release in December of 2025, leading into the Virginia legislative session, saying that mocking the AKA for saying that somehow kratom is so good, but 7OH is not involved in his son's situation at all, and that he mocked us for even suggesting it. He tells the world that 7OH wasn't involved. And then he goes through the legislative session, convinces, obviously, Delegate Cole. He speaks before committees as the bills went through, and he was pushing a ban, which did not get implemented. But at the end of the day, he ignores all that. But he tells them that 7OH was not involved in his son's crisis. And then he tells the governor the same story with his son present. And none of them were recognizing the fact that the reality that 7OH was involved, and the 911 call nails it, proves it. You have a desperate father who's calling 911 with a crisis his son was going through, where he thought his son was going to go out and kill someone with his car because he had just drunk a fifth of whiskey, and they found other alcohol bottles, so he drank more than one fifth of whiskey, and that he was on 7OH. He says it explicitly, clearly in this 911 call in response to questions asked by the 911 operator. And he has the guts, the gall, and the utter, I don't know how to describe it. He doesn't care. And he just says, oh, 7OH wasn't involved. Now he's changing his story. He has to, because the records now, the Floridian article that exposed what was going on in that whole situation, his first response was to say, oh, well, the reporter previously was accused of attempted murder. And that was his, I'm climbing on my high horse, and I'm going to say that guy was bad. Well, it turns out that the incident that led to his arrest initially was his defending his sister against a boyfriend who was assaulting her, and that it got out of hand. And ultimately, They completely dismissed all the charges. So I don't know. In the United States, you're innocent till you're proven guilty, but not in Dean Francis's eye,
Mm-mm.
because anyone who criticizes him is evil, and
Mhm.
that's the narrative. So I mean, this 911 call is unbelievable.
When did the
Given
911 call come out?
it happened in April 1st of this year.
Okay.
And so
Oh.
it was right when all this was going on with the legislature, and he's up there telling them something that's completely not true, while he knows that his son is suffering from this crisis. Really too bad. But he sent me personally a text message where he said, explaining his attack. He said, "This is quote, God blessed me with incredible instincts. I don't understand it, but I am rarely wrong." What?
Hmm.
God made me do it. I mean, this is
Hmm.
this is this is like Bizarro land. His son Cameron sent me a clip from a movie thing that he had picked out where it talks about the storm is coming, and then he threatens me and said, "We're coming for you." I mean, what are these people doing? Uh, there's serious problems there that haven't been disclosed, haven't been fully discussed, and they haven't been recommended to the public. But then you go back to this 911 call. I'll tell you exactly what was said. The 911 operator asks the question when the call comes in. This is what Dean Francis says: "We have a 30-year-old son that took something earlier. I believe it's 7-OH. And in addition to drinking some alcohol, he is like losing his mind. He's psychotic. He's like, I don't know what else to do." And the 911 operator then says, "Well, how is he acting?" And Dean Francis says, "He's in a rage. He can't move his car. He wants the keys, but if he goes out now, he could kill someone. He's in a rage." That's what he tells the operator while he's telling Governor Spanberger, "Oh, my son was trapped by natural kratom leaf." Then the operator says, "Okay, is he responding normally? Is he completely alert?" Dean Francis says he's not responding normally. He's literally like hallucinating. He literally walked into our house with a whole bottle of whiskey that he had just drank. I found two more. And we're like, "What are you doing? You're drinking." Cameron says, "No, I'm not. No, I'm not." And then, like he just bumped her, I think he means his wife, like he doesn't believe he's been drinking. The whole thing's like insane.
Are they
Like,
all in psychosis?
dude.
Like,
Wow.
I'm wondering, I feel so bad for Cameron. I truly do. It's like
Yeah.
I know I've been where he's at, but I can't help but to think that Dean is the problem. Dean is the substance. He can't
Yeah.
escape his daddy Dean.
It
I,
just,
I
I
think
mean,
I knew what you were saying.
wow. The truth always comes out, though. I can't imagine getting up in front of so many people so many times over and over and just not saying the truth.
Well,
Tracy, it happened in April.
yeah. So the truth of this is that he didn't think he would get caught. That's the
Right?
bottom line. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll say whatever I need to say. I've concocted this story, and then all of a sudden it blows up on him. What's his first reaction? Was, "Oh, I'm going to shoot the messenger. The messenger had this legal problem in his past, so therefore I'm going to attack him." He doesn't say, "Well, maybe I overstated this. Maybe I should have been more sensitive to what my son was going through. Maybe I shouldn't have mischaracterized it." He doesn't do any of that. He wants to defend this narrative that he's desperate for, because he's now, misled the Virginia legislature, but he's up in Congress doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
he thinks he's going to get away with it, but he's not, because that's why we're here, to correct the record, to make sure that these legislators get to hear the truth. And he will he will have the burden that he's going to have to carry of all of the lies, all of the mischaracterizations, all the distortions, because there are many. And we're not going to let him just kind of walk around saying, "Oh, well, I'm defending people that need to be protected against this natural kratom leaf product," when in fact his own son's experience was related to alcohol addiction, other drugs, and 7-OH. He may have taken natural leaf. That's fine, but it didn't cause a problem. And the problem is really what he has. So
Cameron's problem is it looks like he's looking for escape routes.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like Dean probably said, if you don't get your act together, you're not going to be in my will. You know, I don't know.
well, I don't know. You said it right. It's sad. It's sad for
It
Cameron.
is.
It is.
It's sad for a family that now wants to convert the problem to something different in order to explain it so that they can live with it. It's just tragic in that sense. But the one thing that needs to be emphasized is all we're seeking is the truth. And
Right.
if he would just say, okay, 7OH is a problem, let's work together. Let's go fight this battle against 7OH. He doesn't want to do that. He wants to make it natural kratom leaf, and that's seriously the foundation for the foundation built on a pile of sand, by the way, for him to use his national platform now of end kratom addiction. I mean, this is about alcohol. It's about other drugs. It's not about
Yeah.
kratom, and he needs to just fess up to it. And he's got it's been a truly bizarre experience dealing with.
Wow. I can't respect, I have no respect for anybody that is a liar. But again, to get up in front of so many people and have this whole, this huge public thing, and just it's all based on lies. That's
Yeah.
something that takes a certain kind of person.
So he puts up pictures of he and Senator McKell at the
Mhm.
podium in the Utah State Senate chamber, and highlights how he won the battle in Utah. He didn't win any more of the battle in Utah than he won in Virginia. He came to get a ban, and what they walked away with is some restrictions on kratom. We don't like some of those restrictions, but it's not a ban. And in Virginia, he walked away with a labeling instruction that is fundamentally wrong, and it mischaracterizes kratom to the extent that it violates the federal law. So he can have these little sniper attacks, and he might get a Pyrrhic victory here and there, but it's not based on the truth. And it's certainly not based on an accurate representation of what his son is going through, which he's using to highlight his campaign. And then he acts like, oh, I'm just trying to help people, No, he's helping, God told him to do this, apparently. And so he's now up there on trying to get on the national stage, along with the likes of Patty Wheeler, with Wendy Chamberlain, with Mike McKell, and with Andrew Kolodny. I mean,
And
this
now
cast of
Templeton.
Mhm.
and Templeton. Yeah, that's an interesting one as well. Templeton testified in the most mean-spirited way known to man at the Georgia
Yeah.
hearing. It's just, but that was a stacked deck in the Georgia hearing. It was all orchestrated by our good friend, Representative Townsend. And he brought in this cast of characters that were anti-kratom, which he said, "Oh no, Mac, I thought I was very fair, very equitable." Well, when you have, I don't know, 8 witnesses to 3, I don't think that's equitable in any way, at least any sane person's view of the world. But that's what he said. This is all part of the battle and the narrative, and we're going to be in there fighting it as best we can to make sure that the decisions that are made are based on accurate information rather than these fictional kind of charades that people are engaged in.
You brought up Utah. That was actually a question that someone had yesterday on X. Could you explain the restrictions that are actually happening in Utah a little bit more?
Sure. So they banned 7OH, which is great. They banned all extracts on kratom products, which is not great. And the definition that they put into it is that, and I'm just paraphrasing, but kratom is contained anything in the Mitragynous specioso leaf that is concentrated. Now, when we analyzed that and our legal team looked at it, that's a problem for Utah. And so we're going to be looking into that. We've talked to the Attorney General's office. We think there's a process where we have to bring this issue to a head. You can concentrate in extracts, kratom products that are dangerous, but there are methods where you can create an extract that are safe and that maintain the same ratios of the plant material in the original plant. So, and there are actually some extracts that deconcentrate those things. So we're going to have an interesting discussion going forward there. But extracts are banned right now. And then they required that the only way that you can purchase a Kratom product is in a tobacco store where you have to have a certain percentage of the amount of tobacco that's sold in order to get in. So it's a smoke shop essentially,
Mhm.
and that's the only place you can buy it. We don't like that. We think it's a restraint, an unnecessary restraint on people. It stigmatizes any Kratom consumer that may not want to go into a smoke shop. And the interesting thing was that during the discussion, Senator McKell was saying how people were being misled, that they were not by clerks, and that they weren't checking for ages. Well, I don't know. Smoke shops aren't known for their following the law. So they put it in the worst place possible. So we've got work to do in Utah to fix that problem next year. And so we'll see how that plays out.
Does it ban online sales?
It does.
How?
Well,
What program is out there that would, you know what I mean?
It'd be complaint based. Someone would order it, they would receive it, and then they would file a complaint. And the Utah regulators would have the opportunity to take the manufacturer to court that is selling the product there in Utah.
So like secret shoppers?
It would be that. It would be the anti-Kratom people to be out there buying products and then exposing it. It's not a great process because we did that with 7-OH products and the state struggled to enforce against it. So, it's a terrible law and it needs to be fixed. And there are better ways to control, to the extent that there needs to be control at the point of sale to make sure that you are actually not selling it to someone who's over underage. There are ways to fix this, but not in Senator McKell's world. I mean, he's
another Dean. He's another Dean Francis.
Yeah, I think I told you that one of his colleagues told me when trying to explain what he was like. He said he's a guy that would climb to the top of Mount Everest and kiss a albino yak on the lips if he thought a news camera was there. He's just a media hound, and I think that's all.
Megan wants to know if you give an update on Michigan and North Carolina.
So North Carolina has a conference committee that someone on the conference has proposed that they complete ban on Kratom. So we are really going to work hard on that one. We got our lobbying teams working on it now. This is the way the legislative process works sometimes, and not to our advantage, because one member can stick something in that has nothing to do with regular order. They haven't actually provided any kind of input from stakeholders or consumers. So we're pushing hard on that one. In Michigan, you've got a similar situation where I understand that Speaker Hall has now decided he's going to insert Kratom into the budget battle because they're in the middle of that right now. Again, this is all legislative manipulation, and so we're doing our best to fight up there too. He could not get his ban bill that was passed in the House, could not get it in the Senate, and so now he's just playing games at this point in order to try to sneak it through. It's terrible government, but it's what they do. Same thing they did in Kentucky, where they slipped it into the last day of the session. It was in a revenue bill. Thankfully, we were able to convince the governor to extend the enactment date so we get another legislative session under our belts, so we can work through that. But very, very disappointing in terms of good government and accountable government with these kinds of manipulations.
So these are the backdoor bans. North Carolina slipped it into a hemp bill, and then Michigan slipped it into a budget bill.
Mm-hmm.
Has nothing to do with Kratom at all.
Just like Connecticut.
Like Connecticut, yep.
Yep.
And yeah, Crystal, he did go over Ohio last week. I can't remember exactly, but I don't think anything's changed in Ohio, has it?
Well, the one thing that did change that I thought was significant is that the Board of Pharmacy representatives showed up at the hearing with JCAR, which is the Joint Committee on Agency Review, and the co-chairs of JCAR were very critical of the Board of Pharmacy. The House co-chair said to the Board of Pharmacy member, we had an agreement that you agreed to, that you were not going to pursue natural leaf kratom ban. And the representative said, well, we didn't see it that way. We're going to discuss that in our first, at our meeting here on the 1st of July. And so there was a strong message sent to the Board of Pharmacy, and I think they're going to get a follow-up message sent, and so it's going to be tough on them. But we're watching that situation carefully. We'll see what they do in their meeting. We suspect, based on input we received, that they are going to drop the natural kratom ban. But we're suing the AK with some stakeholders in Ohio. We're suing the Department of Agriculture, just like we did the Board of Pharmacy. And we're going to keep pursuing every avenue we can to protect consumer access to natural kratom leaf products.
Should
And
we be emailing everybody like the Ohio, North Carolina, and Michigan right now?
Well, North Carolina, we have an alert out, yes. Michigan, we have an alert out. Ohio, we don't need to do anything at this point. We might change that position here in the next couple of days.
watching that JCAR hearing in Ohio was just amazing.
It was great.
It's like
Very
it was like
refreshing to see
me,
people actually.
yeah. To me, it's like those reps. I don't know, like you know how a nun would slap you on the wrist with a ruler. That's what it reminded me of. It was like that Board of Pharmacy dude was getting whacked.
Well, if they're going over, they're bound. They deserve it.
Well,
Yeah.
and I think it's telling that the Speaker of the House, who's on the committee, laid into him. And, so I think that they see that there's not going to be a friendly legislative pathway for them to push these bans through.
Can we get it out of smoke shop and gas stations? It's fueling these local bans, like just have a CBD kratom type shops only. I know it's a big step.
I personally don't agree with that proposition. And it's because largely of the information that was specifically given to me by the director of NIDA, Nora Volko. She said that when I made the comment that we were really struggling with this issue about access to kratom products in convenience stores and gas stations, and she said to me, no, people that are suffering from these kinds of addictions for kratom that helps them are not going to seek treatment that they should perhaps have with their underlying drug issues. They're going to look for relief, and if we can provide that relief, it needs to be readily accessible. And she makes a very strong point that you need to make sure it's age gated and enforced properly, and the formulations of the product have to be great. You're not just taking one drug for another. So I think that my feeling is that this is a talking point that we're facing, where people are saying, oh, it's in gas stations and it's gas station heroin. We need to educate people about the value that natural kratom leaf products have, and that they can ban 7-OH products all day. And that's something that I think is important. And part of that, by the way, I just had a discussion with the local mayor 2 days ago, and he was pushing this, ban from on kratom products, and I made it clear to him that even if you ban the 7-OH product, my personal view is that you should not criminally penalize a consumer for having possession. And I personally don't believe in that. And so he's a very conservative guy that I was talking to, and he challenged me. He said, well, our Republican view is. I said, no, actually, that's not. I know it's easy to say for all drugs, 7-OH, you ban it, but imposing specific problems and certainly restrictions and penalties on consumers is just wrong.
Yeah, I mean that's where I've always felt too. It's like, for a while there, I wasn't I was anti-prohibition on 7-OH, and then I finally had my fed up moment in February of this year when I was testifying in Utah, where I was like, you know what, ban it, just freaking ban it, because attending all these different hearings, I was everything was adding up. I was coming to a pressure boiling point. you know. And in February, when I said that, I was like, you know what? I'm finally gonna be loud and proud about it. I don't care who I piss off,
Yeah.
you know.
It's only escalated since then. It's only gotten worse since then. Like the
Yeah.
media, journalists, I mean, you name it, people just on Facebook. Whoo, it's rough.
But I don't agree with penalizing the people for using it. I
No,
never agreed with that at all. So I
no.
don't know if the DEA announcement comes out. Hopefully, maybe can they put like an amendment in there, a
No,
clause?
no, I think that the federal law, if under the Controlled Substances Act, when you make it a Schedule 1, the current law requires those penalties on possession. That's going to be different than the legislation that we're pushing, that would, of course, not criminalize the possession of either 7-OH or natural kratom leaf products if they are, poorly formulated. The onus is on the manufacturer and the distributor. They are the ones that are responsible for the delivery of these products. So that's where we're focusing. We have both the 7-OH bill and a KCPA that we're going to be pushing that will be consistent with what I've just described, and that's the way we're going to push forward.
Tiffany, you are not alone on this. She says, "Oh, I don't know what happened to Jen. She probably got Wi-Fi problems." But Tiffany says, "As a business owner, I've seen the negative from 7-OH. When it came out, they lied to us. Had at least a dozen companies send samples, Simply 7 cent samples and called me trying to get me to order 4 times. That is drug dealer behavior. I'm sorry. You know, it's like when I go to the Champ show, you know, getting all those free samples, like that's typical drug dealer behavior, you know."
Well, I think the best evidence of that is when the announcement was made that the HHS and FDA were seeking a Schedule 1 classification for 7-OH, that it was Vince Sanders, when asked by a distributor on social media, should I pull this stuff from our shelves? And his answer was, no, this will be the greatest marketing thing we've ever been through. You'll see sales spike through the roof. This is their attitude. And now, the response should have been, in my opinion, that if there is a basis for the recommendation for 7-OH to be scheduled, and assuming that the science is behind it, which it is apparently, then a more cautious approach would have been, well, you certainly should start to scale down. We're going to be respectful of the law. He didn't say that at all. And so that's really kind of the essence of the problem we run into with the unethical behavior of some of these people that are involved in the manufacturing and distribution of these 7-OH opioids. We just have to fight back.
You know, and I agreed with your when Soren was on that webinar the other night and was asking you about this, and you were talking about there's nobody, pretty much you were naming off all the people. There's nobody you could trust in the 7-OH industry. Nobody.
No,
and it's like
I have my oldest son struggled with a lot of issues, not drugs, thankfully, but he did have a problem with his relationship with the truth. And I knew that he was lying when his lips were moving. And that's the kind of thing you see with the 7-OH community. They're slick talkers, and they'll say anything they have to say, and they'll reach and they'll find any kind of way to figure it out. I mean, just it makes no sense, but that's what they're doing. And so that's the way I look at it. You just have to treat it. We were approached and asked if there was any way that we could start working with the 7-OH community to try to stop some of these bans that are undergoing. I mean, that's appealing. Could we somehow consolidate and work on it? And the answer to that is no, because they can't be trusted for 1 second. They'll be up there telling legislators that we'd have to spend our time correcting what they're saying because they don't tell the truth. And so that's
we're doing it now.
Yeah. True.
We're doing it now. It's like it boggles my mind that people think, because the stupid saying that I keep seeing people read, or when I read it, is the AKA shot themselves in the foot. And it's like, why would you even think the AKA would be advocating for 7-OH? It is not even a kratom product. They're called the American Kratom Association, not the Molested Molecule Association.
Well, like it's just going to sit around like it was like it's just nobody was ever going to have any issues with it. You know, it's all the AKA's fault because they called attention to the difference. And it's like, if that another, you know, I say it all the time, they're living in another world.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. And you know, if anyone thinks the AK's role is to just let anything out on the marketplace, we rang the bell loudly against 70H in 2019 before any of this became widely commercially available. We were there saying there had to be limits. We have reported over 130 kratom companies to the FDA for their improper and illegal marketing tactics. We've tried to be as best we can the sentinel in trying to protect natural leaf kratom product consumers from unsafe products, and we're going to continue that role. And I get it that the 70H community entrapped a lot of people that were natural kratom leaf products, consumers, because they were told that they were kratom. Even today, many of these products have natural kratom alkaloids on it, which is complete nonsense. I mean, it's improper marketing, it's deceptive marketing, and it needs to be corrected. So we're going to be there as best we can, fighting every battle in the trenches that we can do. And I'll tell you, I've got to go here at the top of the hour, but let's talk about Florida, because I think that's a significant thing. You've got the AG who did two things that I think were significant. One is that he put a new rule in place, right? And that's great, because the 70H people were bragging that they had millions of products sitting at the border, and as soon as July 1st came, they were going to flood the state with this stuff. And you know, that would have been obviously a real threat to the safety of a lot of Florida consumers. But the AG said no, he reimposed the rule. He did so against the political headwinds of the current speaker of the House of Representatives in Florida, who hates him and who is in bed with, as we understand it, literally the 70H lobbyist, if you believe what they said in the political media outlets down there. But the good news is that speaker will be gone before the next legislative session, and the current ban that the AG put in place extends to the period of time next year beyond the legislative session. So the legislature will be able to affirm this rule. The second thing that he did that was critically important was he defined what the 70H products are with great specificity, because he got to the MGM 15 and 16. He got to the 80H and the 10OH and the 12OH products and Sudandoxil. Now, there was a comment made by the brilliant scientist from Seven Ohms, or from Seven Hope Alliance, I'm sorry, where Miss Ross, where she said, "Oh, there was a loophole." So here's the way the process works, Miss Ross. When you find an error, a loophole, it gets fixed. And you have an attorney general who's committed to fixing any of those loopholes. So you can mock maybe a loophole that was created inadvertently, but it happens all the time. We fix it. There are technical revisions that are made to legislation in every state across the country. And the fact that she was so ridiculously dumb about that process is consistent, because that's the way she rolls. But I was entertained by her statement that was the case. But the AG is committed to getting rid of these synthetic, these chemically manipulated products and protecting consumers. And God love him for doing it. I don't think God told him to do it. We'll have to ask Dean, but he certainly is doing the right thing.
It's almost like they're having to follow the same playbook of what, like when they banned illicit fentanyl. There's like column after column of all these different names of the analogs.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it seems like it's going down with, it's just 7-0 got to go. 7-0 got to go.
Well, and that's what the DEA is struggling with today, is that they have limitations where in the form of the statutory requirements. This is why we think we need a statutory bill on 70H. Is the bottom line is they have to have a specific kind of evidence in the 8-factor analysis that would allow them to move forward with this. and they're struggling because they can't capture the new products that are on the market for which there is not enough surveillance data or scientific evidence about it, but they know the threat. And they described it exactly. It's a whack-a-mole thing. So they're trying to craft the actual provision that would extend through the Analog Act to capture these things. It's not easy, and they're doing their best. So my solution is, at least as we've evaluated their struggle with this, let's just have a federal ban statutorily, which would amend what the Controlled Substances Act limitations are for 7OH. And I think we can get that through. Congressman Bilirakis has already filed the bill. I think you're going to see some amendments to that bill. And I think that there's an urgency that is being recognized by the Congress to move on this. So we're going to try that avenue as well.
Okay, so since you got 5 minutes left with us, so let's recap with Mac. So we have the September rally coming up, September 13th for the rally, and then 14th and 15th we will have opportunities to go to the offices. So you guys need to plan now. Get your butts out there to DC. And then so North Carolina, you said you have an alert up, but you don't have one up for Michigan yet?
I think I'll check. I think we have one up for Michigan. Well, maybe not, but we do have it for North Carolina, and we will have the Michigan one up quickly because we're now finding that budget battle is going to be influenced by a conference committee, not going to be public. So we have to work on that. Same in North Carolina. So that's you'll see that Michigan alert up very quickly.
Okay, so you'll be sending out an email blast soon?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Someone had a question about California. If you want to just do that real quick, is there any update for California?
No, other than the option that we have in California is pretty straightforward, and that is to get the FTA and Kratom webpage changed, because there's nothing we can do until the next legislative session in order to fix this next year, and we're going to be in the middle of this tension between the ridiculous conclusion of the Department of Public Health that all kratom is adulterated under the federal law and therefore it overlays onto their state law. They're wrong on this, but they're basing it completely on the FDA and Kratom webpage, and we've got to get that changed. And we're working like crazy.
Okay.
Are we close to the DEA ban on stuff? Any day now.
We've been saying that for a while.
Yeah, I'm not going to depend on it. I think we have to do something on the legislatively.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Right.
Okay. Anything else you want to update us with, Mac? You want to leave us with any thoughts and prayers?
Well, I'll say this, and it's going to be a complete suck up comment. You guys are fabulous. It's getting the word out. I appreciate the opportunity to spend some time with you doing this. But this platform is critically important, and it's honest. You're not going to see that in that other group, the Kratom 7OH gals. That's not honest, and unfortunately they've dug in and they're peddling their nonsense, but it's not protecting consumers, and it ultimately will be the downfall if we continue this, trying to say, oh, let's leave 7OH alone. 7OH is an opioid. It is a threat to the safety of anyone who takes it, and it is going to be the downfall of natural kratom if we don't stop it. So that's where we are, and you guys are doing a great job. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on here. You've given us
you.
an hour of a power hour. Sometimes you go over an hour on Saturdays, but thank you for giving us your time to do this because the community loves this. They truly do.
Yes, we all appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and look forward to next week.
Okay, bye, Mac.
Thanks.
All right,
See you
bye,
later.
Mac. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't even know. I just had a brain fart
Well,
again.
I have to go pee.
When we're talking about. All right, go pee. I didn't get to some of the questions, but I was trying to. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Something about Oh, I know what I was gonna say. As far as like, just letting 7OH be around, not saying anything, live and let live. To me, that's like the equivalent of someone coming, like a bully coming up to you, or somebody on the street and like kicking you in the gut and taking all of your money or your car keys and just running away. And you just go, oh well, I guess I'm just not gonna, that's equivalent to me. So that's why I think that, the more vocal we are against 7OH, the better. Yeah, I'm so glad he's able to do this every week. It's nice to be able to get like mini updates, and everybody gets to kind of say hi and everything. I know it's hard to catch the webinars all the time, depending on when they are. I was trying to make sure I got to everybody, or kind of. Oh, and someone asked about Tennessee. I think it was Deborah. Unfortunately, there's nothing that we can do until next year, next legislation. But before then, I'll just stay tuned to Tennessee because there is some work that needs to be done before the legislative session. I guess the DC rally will be to, like, I guess a 10-year anniversary type of thing. And then, the first day, September 13th, my birthday, will be like the rally. And then I think she said 15th and 16th or the 14th. There she is. Is it the 15th and 16th will be um, to go talk to representatives possibly?
No,
Or is
the
it the
rally
14th?
will be the 13th, which is a Sunday, and then the 14th and the 15th should be the days that we
Okay.
could go possibly get meetings with the
Because it had been in 10 years
the
as of
13th. Yeah,
September 13th. Yeah.
yep. And I wasn't around. I was deep in my addiction in 2016, so I wasn't around when they did the first rally, but the folks that attended that rally are why we found Kratom. It's why we
Yeah.
were, so I thank the advocates
Yes.
that came before me. If you've switched sides along the way, you got your thanks. Okay, bye. Go away.
I tell you what, Extreme. I haven't been on Facebook much. Let's just say that. And I'm sure you understand because every time I get on there, it's some moron representative talking about how, they're fighting the war on Kratom. Get out of here. Anyway, I just, you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I'm taking it one day at a time, and I'm just going to rest up and get ready to fight when
Yeah.
it's time.
Connie,
And Connie said her advocacy was
different.
going around on different platforms and correcting bad information. I try. Yes,
I
how are you,
know.
Chris?
I see you over there on LinkedIn.
But it's hard to do that on Facebook because they, if you start commenting anything positive, you got who in there. It's like, oh, stalk, and then they'll start reporting you. So it's hard. They want to control that narrative on Facebook bad.
What did Mike say? Let me see.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
Okay, we're not gonna put that up on screen. We don't talk about locality hearings here because our lovely Kratom haters watch us. Yeah, Laura, are you still? So people have been asking me over there on TikTok, and I still give them your email.
Ooh,
You putting the ticker?
Hold on, let me put that up.
Yeah, if you guys are wanting to be on the emails with us, we only advocate for natural leaf. If you're on that other chemical crap, no, don't even bother. Because we're having to go mop up that mess because you're on that chemical crap. But yeah, so there's the email. Screenshot this, you guys, and email Laura your name, city, and state. Let her know that you're interested to be put on the email blast. Those email blasts come in clutch, let me tell you. I know Laura's she's got to craft it all nice and neat, and she does such an amazing job for us. And so she gets all that stuff, all that information ready. All you got to do is copy and paste the email addresses in there. And You got any consumer needs to have their testimony on the ready. Put it in a
Yeah.
notes app, you could put it on a Facebook post and just save it. Don't if you don't want to publicly talk about your kratom consumption or what have you, just post it on your Facebook profile under only me and then save it. That way it's on the ready for when you need that testimony. Because if you guys ever see my comments, like especially over there on X, I am constantly dropping my testimony.
Yeah.
So
You're not censored over on X either. So, I mean, X, LinkedIn is good about not censoring. Dude, I'm sorry, Mike. Dude, I feel you. I don't want to put that, but I know. It's so frustrating when you're trying to give your testimony to lawmakers and they simply don't understand. Like you're in front of their face showing like you're like, this has saved my life, and they still don't get, either they don't give a shit or they just don't want to understand the difference between 7-OH and kratom, or they just already have such a biased view because of the media. I mean, for whatever, it's hard, and it's like you get
Yeah.
mad. You get so mad you just want to just scream, listen to me. Listen to me. It's horrible. It's horrible.
But you get mad, but you don't get mad at them. You get mad enough to go advocate
Right.
the next time around. Or use that madness, to go like Mike, go make TikTok videos, go do X posts,
Mhm.
use that anger, but don't come off as angry. Sometimes I do. I don't know why I'm preaching this, but but occasionally I'll get angry and make a video or something. But other than that, I will turn that anger into something positive. That's what I was trying to say.
I was going to. Oh, Connie, have you looked at kratomanswers.org to see if the science you're looking for is on that? There's a lot of science.
They
over
really need to
there.
update that one though with all the new stuff. But you can
Yeah.
start there, kratomanswers.org.
What was this other one? PA has a federal bill that could help all these city bans. Keeping an eye on the next hearing. I hope
Okay.
so. Should we be calling vendors? So many aren't. It never hurts to call vendors. It never hurts to call or email like vendors, especially like if it's in, or if you know of a vendor, say that's in a state that is under watch or whatever.
Mhm.
It can't hurt to reach out to them and let them know. It has a lot of support. I hope so, Megan. Good Lord, I hope so. They do.
Yeah.
Laura, they do. And that's sad. It's sad that people care more about, they don't care about the people that are living a productive life. They don't care about the people that are going to work and paying taxes and spending time with their kids because Kratom gave them their life back. Like they could give a shit less. They want to put people in rehabs and, cater to them rather than, it just.
But putting people in rehabs, is the write-off that the opioid abatement money funding needs.
Yeah. And I can tell you right now, I can't tell you how many, but just in the last 2 weeks, some of the hearings that we've attended, they brought that up. And some of it, the part of the meeting was about what they wanted to do or how much they wanted to ask for of that money. So bet your bottom dollar that's still happening. Like it's so, I don't know. It's just, it's all
Mike,
about money.
I've called anytime hearings would happen, I would call like local smoke shops and stuff like that. Sometimes most of them they don't care. And I think, and looking back on it, they don't care because they are selling the 7-OH.
Yep. That's how it was here too. Like I went to go bring the little flyers around and it's like, It's like, all right. Yeah. Oh yeah. Protect the children because the children are just, get out of here. Kids are not giving a shit about ground up tea leaves that taste like shit. That don't even get you like high or like it's boring.
You can't get kids to eat vegetables. What makes you think they're gonna eat a leaf?
Right. They'd much rather eat fucking broccoli with cheese or something on it. Hell, Brussels sprouts.
For local bands,
Yeah.
call the local smoke shops and tell them there's a Kratom ban pending. 30% of sales are Kratom in smoke shops, so that's important. Yeah,
It can't hurt. I mean, they might not show up or do anything, but it's like, you did your part,
I've called a ton of smoke shops.
Yeah. Or kava
Yes.
bars, if y'all live in an area with kava bars. Yeah. I know, girl. Tiffany, you busted your
You did,
ass in
Tiffany.
Tennessee. I mean, you
That was an
did.
amazing crew, that Tennessee had popping off over there.
Yeah, our team Tennessee was awesome. I'll say that. I'm proud of us, even though we lost the
Yeah.
battle. We'll
Uh-huh.
win the war.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it takes. Care if it's 5 years from now. I'll see y'all there.
Mike, what were you saying earlier about the 7OH podcast you listened to, where you finally said you've had enough? You were just done with the 7OH. You had enough.
Yeah, I saw that.
If I go try to find the comment, it's gonna be way up in there.
Yeah. I can't remember what podcast he said either. Yeah, you know what? I went to a legit Kratom only shop here local to me, and I'm not going to say the name of it, but they were just like, oh, yeah, that happened. We're aware of that. And it wasn't the owner. It was just somebody that worked there. But you know what? I saw yesterday going out of business. But I felt like going back up there, all I wanted them to do was put the flyer up. And, I told them, I said, look, I'm going to Nashville tomorrow. Like, this is serious. Like, this rep has been on this since last year. Bet they thought, but they wish they would listen, whatever. Yeah, that backdoor stuff is scary.
And
but you know what? They try to do it in Kentucky and look at, at least.
And when they do the backdoor bans like that, freaking KDA and all them look at that. Oh, look, we won. Like, you won on a technicality, pretty much.
The same way they win every time on a lie. Like Tennessee. Like, that's not a win. Like, if you have to lie and do shit that's underhanded, that is not a freaking win. If you can walk away and feel like it's a win, there's something wrong
God
with that.
tell you to lie? Oh,
you mean
Michelle? I can't with her. She lies. She lies. She has me blocked on X because I caught her in a lie. And then she lied again about me, saying that she heard me in line at the Chap Show talking crap about 7OH users, and I ain't never done that. I asked her what line. I even freaking, after she blocked, I mean, because she had me blocked, but I even tagged her. I'm like,
I mean, I think the worst that we've ever said about 7OH users is you're part of the problem and not the solution. But, like, we would never demonize someone for taking a substance. I could give a shit less what you do with your body. And I want to say this, too, while we're talking about that. I think that there was some kind of post or something on Reddit where people are talking about, in Tennessee, there's you can buy... switch to MGM 15 and 16 and it's legal. Let me tell you something. That shit is nothing like Kratom leaf. It's nothing like Kratom powder. Like, when you switch over to something like that, you are switching over to completely chemical
that's fully
substance.
synthetic.
And I can tell you right now, it is not going to benefit you.
And they're calling it cat's claw.
Yeah.
So where's the? Because isn't there like an actual herb called cat's claw or something like that?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I got some. Yeah, I think it's supposed to be like huge high doses of cat's claw. I don't know. I saw some people say, I guess it helps with withdrawals from 7OH and stuff. But when they test it, it's MGM 15.
So they're continuously piggybacking off of legal herbal names. Mike, I don't
Yeah,
know if I could sit through that shit.
I know.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, cat's claw is supposed to be good for a few things, but it's like they're just going to keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I know people are like, well, it's going to create a black market. It's already a black market. I think, it it's only going to help because, like, you think about how many people could afford to change the packaging and labeling all the time to keep up. I don't know. There's always going to be a
Yeah.
black market, but it needs to get the hell off the fucking shelves. I am so sorry, but I'm sick of seeing it.
I hate 7OH.
I can't stand it. I hate it. I can't say every day of my life. I say it at least once, 1 to 10 times a day.
And like I say, I have no problems being loud and proud about that. And if that pisses you off, I don't care.
Yeah,
Yeah,
keep scrolling.
I don't care.
Bye-bye.
And
Bye-bye.
don't fucking put words in my mouth saying that I'm, hate the users of it and all this stuff. No.
Yeah, ain't none of us said
No.
that shit.
If someone feels that way, that's their problem. That's, they're like, oh, if one of my posts or what I say, resonates with you, that's a you problem.
Yeah. Dude, Mike, I've been seeing a lot. That's a good thing to bring up, this SR17. First of all, I will say when I saw that come up, I think it was like last year. First of all, it's a research chemical. At the end of the day, it's a research chemical. Which, I mean, dude, I guess if I was addicted to 7-0, blah, 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 I'd say, what the hell? Who gives a shit? But, what I saw last year is it was really, really not hard to get, but I guess, like, they only produced it a certain amount of time. And so it wasn't like, in other words, it wasn't widely available. And so me seeing that blow up on TikTok where they're like
Coupon
having
codes.
codes and influencers and shit. So it just makes me pause and think like, oh, so now all of a sudden there's just a wide market for it, which it could be, but it's not, it's not, as far as I know, it's not made in this country. So it's shipped from another country. I don't know which one, and it's not a miracle thing. Like a lot, they make it to seem like, oh, you take this and you're automatically not going to withdraw from 7. You still have to
put in the work. Yeah.
To work.
And people drop those damn comments in my TikToks and I delete them. You're not going to be promoting none of, there was already no science with 7OH. There's no science on the SR stuff. You're not going to promote stuff that's going to possibly hurt somebody. That's going to, because I have a lot of silent watchers, not a lot of people will, unless, and it's happened time and time again where they've watched me for years and then they find like and then they finally try to create them and then they'll scoot up in my messages and be like, oh my God, Misty, I don't know why I waited so long to try this. I've been watching you for years. So I have silent watchers and, not if someone's sitting there, just reading through the comments and they're like, oh, I don't want, no, you're not going to use my platforms to promote shit. I don't even promote shit.
Right. Like, and that's just, I feel the same way about it. Like, I promote advocacy. That's what I promote. Yeah, the SR17, I actually have a really good question for, I've seen so much about the origination of this and, I have questions that only, I guess, a chemist would know.
But you can't even trust chemists.
So, well, I'm saying like probably maybe Dr. McCurdy. Maybe he'd know. But yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. Yeah, it's like they explain it as it gives your receptors a break. Because with a lot of people that start taking 7OH, their receptors are fried. They can't even like the pain patients that are getting 7OH in between pain refills. Not feeling their opiates when they.
And then another lady couldn't even. She had to go into the hospital, and she couldn't even feel anything from the morphine drip. 7OH is frying. It probably fries a lot more than just your opioid receptors.
Yeah. So I don't know if it were that SR whatever, because I guess the SR thing doesn't have any euphoria, blah blah blah. I mean, if that's the case and it works, that's good. But it's like, man, that's a really at
Yeah.
your own risk. And if you're already taking 7OH or MGM, you're already risking it
Yeah.
every time. It's like how much more shit you want to put in your body type of thing. So I don't know.
I only promote.
But yeah, I've seen it
Yeah,
all
I
over
only
the place.
promote, whole leaf kratom. I only promote firsthand experience. That's what I freaking promote. I don't know, Mike.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Do you contain while beginning this? I don't know. Like I've heard. I think a lot of people too. They buy that SR thinking they're going to take it, and it's just going to magically work. But I mean, you have to taper. You still have to really work at it. It's not. I hear it's pretty pricey too. So it's like if you're already buying a bunch of 7OH, like I don't know. I feel absolutely horrible for anybody trapped in that.
I know,
cycle.
Laura. Do you want to come on real quick?
Thank you.
Laura, do you want to come on?
Come on down.
Or Mike, do you want to come on?
Yeah, you're right about that. SR17. But you know what? If it works and Big Pharma they'll take it away.
Like, I have no doubt that 7OH can be a pharma drug. I have no doubt, But oh my
yeah.
God, it's like, why when you're redosing every 2 hours like that because you've crashed?
And when you have to keep increasing your dose, like, dude, when people are taking, tens of in the thousands or couple thousands or whatever milligrams a day.
Yeah, Laura, are you on your computer or hold on. Are you on your computer or phone?
I thought you were talking to me.
No, when someone's on their computer, I email them the link.
Yeah, are you on your I don't know, Mike's mobile. Hold on.
I can send it.
I can send it to you on Facebook.
Or on X. I think my daughter's home. Got my belly boo barking.
Well, now I can't get rid of. Okay, here it is.
Okay, I'll send it.
Do you want me to?
I'll send Laura to the computer. I mean, to her email. Hey, sweetie.
Oh, we don't care about no. It's all right. Mike, if you want to come on, because I'm gonna go to the restroom. I gotta go pee pee. I'm gonna send this link to you on Facebook. So if you want to hop on, you can just, I hope I just put that in right. Okay, here it is.
Mike gonna come on here dancing.
Dude, I wish I could dance. Okay, Mike, I just sent it to you on Facebook Messenger if you want to come on for a minute.
I sent it to you, Laura, on your email. Yeah, I don't care about makeup. I hardly ever wear makeup.
Well, I do try and put eye makeup on every day because when I was paralyzed for all that time, like I couldn't use my hands. And so I made a promise. I was like, dude, I'm going to wear blue jeans because I couldn't I'm going to wear blue jeans and I'm going to put makeup on every day. I don't every day, but I only have Messenger and YouTube and X. I sent it to you on Facebook, but we can always send it on X.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah, it's been a year now since I got banned on Facebook. There's Mike.
Hey, what's going on? I'm driving, so just,
Why are you driving and talking on your phone, boy?
I most of it.
You're fine. Yeah, it's been a year now since I got banned on Facebook.
That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. What are you eating a popsicle?
Yeah, popsicle.
You know what, Mike?
Driving.
I want to tell you thank you for showing up at these hearings. Thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
I get to it when I can. Even the remote ones too. I just whenever I can. But it's defeating because every time it's the same song and dance, and you try to tell them to differentiate, and it's like they're like, well, we don't know what's in it, and we're just a small village, and we just don't have the labs and the resources to do it. And I don't
Hey,
know.
Mike.
Hi.
Yeah, you are a boss about showing up at the hearings, local and virtual.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does suck. It's like that's their scapegoat every time. It's like we don't have the resources or um well, I don't know. One of the most recent ones was like, well, if we don't, then the kids are going to go on vacation, and the
Yeah.
kids are going to come here and get it in our city. And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, they're gonna if they're on vacation, first of all, they're gonna be wanting booze. They're not gonna want
Yep.
a holy cradle.
No. No. Vaping and smoking weed and eating edibles and drinking and not the leaf. They're not even selling ground up leaf at maybe a few of the smoke shops are, but gas stations that's not even a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Well, we've heard it time and time again where they've said that, whole leaf was pushed out and 7OH was pushed in.
It's making more money. It makes more money.
It makes more money and it takes up way less shelf space.
Yep.
It's just sickening, man. I mean, and the whole thing, even where it's banned, it's everywhere. Like here in Tennessee, like it's been banned this whole time, and it's everywhere. Every time I see it, I just want to lasers come out of my eyes and choom choom. And I ask them, I'm like, do you sell a lot of this? Oh yeah, I bet you do.
Yep. It's insane. It's insane. And like I post up all the time too, like the 7OH thefts, the burglaries and the
Yeah.
robberies and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And it's like nobody gonna do that for kratom. You're not gonna risk jail time for some kratom.
And it's
Nope.
crazy because sometimes it'll just be like a little bit of 7-0. Like that man, remember that city council guy or whatever? Like he just
Yeah.
what the hell? Like, or you got the guy like running through the fucking wall of the smoke shop.
Yeah.
Like what?
And then you had the cop,
Yeah.
the cop in uniform on duty.
Like that's very telling. Like that is very telling. So for people to act like it's not, it's not a big deal. I mean, it's a huge deal. Just sick
So,
of it.
so Mike, tell us about the podcasting that you watched.
Yeah. So we don't have to
I
sit
don't know.
there.
It was a Seven Hope Alliance one. It was on that link that I sent. A lot of it sounded like it was mostly about like for it almost seems like it's more for geared towards like the pain people, chronic pain, which I'm sure it really helps and stuff, but you have to watch it yourself because I feel like they didn't make a point about the deaths. You have very low deaths in the safety profile. They made that point across, but they just kind of like downplayed or went over the addiction, like the too much into that, and they kind of say, people want an alternative to Suboxone, and I'm thinking for the all the time, and people saying they're going on Suboxone to get off 7OH. Like there's,
Yep.
they're like, people.
You're breaking up bad, Mike. It sounds like we're listening to a.
Being critical and fear-mongering.
Okay, Mike, we're gonna take you off.
People are
Breaking up
over TikTok.
bad.
Now, they're saying over and over and over again. Then it's like, I mean, I believe that the 7-OH for the pain people in low doses does help, but when people are going
For
into
how
the gas
long?
station, they're being told, what for what, how long?
Like, as far as the chronic pain patients, like, for how long is it going to help? I've had many of them tell me that, it helped them a lot at first, like maybe for even 3 months, but then they started noticing they would go into withdrawal within a couple hours, and they had to keep increasing, and then,
Yeah.
lo and behold, they're spending hundreds of dollars on it a week, and it's like, that's just, it's horrible for the chronic pain patients, because then they find themselves having to deal with that on top of the chronic pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then,
yeah.
Yeah.
what gets me is when the chronic pain patients will message me, and this one message just always will stay with me, because this was a lady that was a grandma, and she was never addicted to her opioids before, but she is full blown addicted to 7-OH. Not dependent. She's addicted. And she's like, I cannot tell nobody. I can't tell my kids. I can't tell my grandkids. It is just a mess.
Yeah.
And that just breaks my heart. Hey, Laura.
Yeah.
Hey, Laura.
Hey,
Hey, Laura, how are you?
good. How are you?
So you're still collecting people's names, cities, and states?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a little slow. We had a rush in the beginning, but haven't heard. I actually got one. Somebody asked me today, which was great. But yeah, absolutely. If you're interested in being, the only time I really bug you bad is if you live in Massachusetts. So just
Yeah.
Yeah, Massachusetts has been busy.
Yeah, that's really busy. But we're doing good. We're busy. We get lots of alerts, and which we don't like. We like the slow alert days, but there's always time and room to educate. But I will tell you about something this week. I think I've told Misty, but I talked to some, I won't give details, but some lady had said that her son was, first time I ever heard this, that they have actual kratom parties they're going to. And I said, oh, no. That is not a kratom party. I said, no one goes to go drink some sludge or take some capsules. I'm like, that was 7-OH.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I literally have heard about that going on. And I was just, my jaw dropped. My jaw dropped. I was like, unbelievable. So this goes to tell you, we really, it's, again, I only caught the very last thing that, Max said, because I had to go to the store and stuff. But that makes me sad that the DEA is not moving on this, because it really is a public health emergency. And we're starting to just see more and more kids. And, I know, in fact, today I got a comment from Michelle Ross on something I did on LinkedIn today. And she had said about that there was no deaths from, let me read it. Let me read it.
And
Okay.
the thing about those deaths, though, is like they don't always test for, like they, and it doesn't always show up depending on the timeline.
Right.
So that's a stupid argument to me.
It's a very stupid argument, because who knows, with all these, kratom deaths that's happened, it's being labeled as kratom.
Yeah, exactly. So what I had posted, it really made me mad, because there's a whole thing going, it's really horrible. There's, I guess, a whole big batch that the DEA has found that's going through the Rocky Mountains. So like Utah, Colorado, there's a huge amount of, it says the Drug Enforcement Administration's Rocky Mountain Field Division is warning the public after its Southwest laboratory identified illicit pills containing deadly mixtures of fentanyl, carfentanil, and fentanyl/heroin in Salt Lake City. And I've seen it all in the West here. So they've got this huge this huge warning. So my post was to give the context.
Yeah.
I said, yet they are focused on banning kratom in Utah. This plant supplement is not the problem. The supposed 158 deaths from kratom were not kratom at all. 90% of these decedents had fentanyl in their tox screens. A few percentages were suicides. The rest of the deaths did not record if 7-OH or kratom was detected. I said, they are not the same, but keep getting combined by the media. Attack the real problem. Don't harm people like me who rely on natural leaf for pain control. So that was my post. But then Michelle said, I thought that was interesting, there are no single substance 7-OH deaths ever reported by postmortem labs. 7-OH is riskier with sedatives, while kratom mitragynine is riskier with stimulants due to cardiotoxicity. Any kratom or 7-OH OD is almost always polysubstance, alcohol, fentanyl, or stimulants. But the comment I was going to make on that one is typically if an abuser, again, I'm referring to kratom parties here now, what is the chance that at the kratom party it's going to be a dry party? Tell me that. Are they?
Yeah.
You don't think they're over here drinking beer or whatever they're drinking?
Taking shots.
Taking shots. I'm just telling you, it's a combination that, especially you know, I'd say young adults, typically that's what they do. That's just how they roll. And they're going to have alcohol probably with their 7-OH, especially in a social setting. So that argument is terrifying, that she's saying, oh, well, really, there's no 7-OH deaths unless you combine them with alcohol and other substances. I'm like, that's the problem, though, is the people that are taking leaf, like the little capsules, typically aren't taking it to go get, oh, I'm going to go party. I want to go high. I want to get high. That's what they're doing. So they're not in a social situation. I'm not saying that, you know, people aren't ever drinking alcohol with it. But my point is, you're not going to sit down and take a kilogram of kratom and drink, like you say, a fifth of vodka on top of it or take some shots. You're just not.
Yeah.
So it really is a huge risk to me. I don't like her argument because she's saying, you know, and I don't know, maybe she's true. Maybe this is correct. That there really hasn't been a specific single 7-OH death.
Well, that's just like the whole adverse. Well, we've sold 1 billion things, and there's been no adverse event, and it's like because it's attributed to kratom.
Yeah.
Like everything is attributed to kratom. So it's like even if there was a single 7, say that there is, did they even test for it? You know what I mean? Like
exactly. So I don't know, the whole alcohol thing, because there's a kid that just passed away in North Dakota area, young kid, underage, teen. First time he took 7-OH and passed away.
There's also a new one in Oklahoma. Not the one that we saw where we think the mother's on something, because she's definitely.
I remember that one. Oh boy. Yeah.
Not that one. There's another one. I just saw it last night. This guy, let me read what she says. A 20-year-old Oklahoma man whose family says he took a single pill purchased from a gas station. You know, I guess he was in a coma for a minute, but he wound up passing away.
I wonder what was in it.
He said he spent a week in the hospital before dying after taking what she described as 1 pill of the substance. He took 1 pill of something, and he's not here anymore because of that.
Well, and you know what? Hey, okay, so you saw the little ad I just said about the pills that have fentanyl in them.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that we're not going to start seeing this. We're going to see 7-OH laced with things like fentanyl.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's always a risk that they'll do that with kratom too. I mean, that's why it's so important to have laboratory tested product that you can trust, because you don't mess with that. But I don't know. That's just astonishing to me. That kratom party, I was like, what? That was nuts.
Yeah.
I've never heard of something like that.
I
You
haven't
got one of
either.
those little candy. Do you have one of those candy pacifiers?
Yeah, ring pop.
Ring pop.
Oh
Yeah.
my
That's my
gosh.
addiction right
He's eating
there.
a ring pop. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Suckers and
How cute. I haven't seen one of those in a minute.
When you need sugar, you gotta have sugar. You take
Oh.
that there.
That damn sugar addiction, man. Nobody out here trying to ban sugar though.
Exactly.
It's just,
Exactly.
I don't know. I do hope that the DEA makes an announcement within the next, but at least before the end of the year, for goodness sakes, because it's like we're just drowning.
I don't know. Part of me makes me worried that I've always said this, that they're just sitting back watching the drama and letting it go. Well, why should we do anything about it? Because it's just taking care of itself. So, but it's hard because all of this now is changing public perception. And that's my biggest worry, is that people are now, people like a year ago didn't even know what it was. And we are still seeing people that don't know what it is, or that, but it's rarer. Most people now are hearing about it and they're getting really bad information.
And it's
Yeah.
always from social media. You know, that's what a lot of people get their news from Facebook and stuff, which is ridiculous. But I mean, even if they didn't, you know, mainstream media is just as bad. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just as bad. Like it's ridiculous. And it's scary to see how many legislators and lawmakers have no idea, you know, or refuse to even learn the difference. It's
Right,
scary.
Right. So I'll tell you my favorite quote for the week. You want to hear my favorite quote for the week? And it was Misty I think it was Misty that said it. Yeah, it was Misty. We were at a hearing, an unmentionable hearing, because there's too many of them, but not that I remember which one it was. But anyway, we were there and there was a few of us, and it was actually a really enjoyable hearing because they were talking back and forth. And Misty said, well, yeah, all of us are on Kratom. Everybody here in this room, because we had been talking to them back and forth for a good 30 minutes or more. And for her to say, well, we're all on Kratom today. And I was so cute because I thought they had to think, oh, because we're having these, you know, very serious conversations with lots of facts and lots of stories. And they were excited. You know, that right there tells you everything. So that was my favorite quote of the week, Misty. I love that.
Yeah.
That was
And
a good hearing.
Yeah, it was. It was really in depth hearing, you know.
Yeah, that was a surprise for sure.
You know, that's what we've been doing, you know, ever since July of 2025. You know, it's like after that announcement came, you know, with the FDA, DEA, and HHS about banning 7-OH, then these hearings really picked up. You know, and we dedicated thousands of hours, Laura. And I know, I know this. You're the one who sets them up.
That's true. It's been absolutely, yeah, it's been a lot for sure. So we're hoping to, but and there's one more thing I have to say. So again, in speaking to someone this week, she was one of this woman I spoke with was, you know, she was kind of anti-Kratom, you know, again, confused. Anyway, I won't go into details, but the one thing that she did say, now what did she say? Oh my God, I lost my train of thought. Okay, it's going to come back to me.
Dude, I did. It happens to me
all the time.
Oh my
all
gosh.
the time.
There's the gabapentin. Kicking in, let me tell you.
I
But
try
need
to remember
that.
if I was like that before.
It'll hit me. I know it's right there on the tip of my tongue what she said. But anyway, it'll hit me. It was profound. Trust me. No, just teasing.
It'll come back to you. Tracy says, I'm still confused about Dean Francis' situation. So he's barking about Kratom. Meanwhile, his son is drinking and using 7-OH just 2 months ago and called 911. Yeah. Laura, were you here when Mac was talking about the 911 call?
I did. No, but I'd talked to him a little bit earlier about it. I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps saying plain leaf.
I wish I heard a recording of that call. I wish they had.
It's coming. It's coming. So Mac is finishing up his episode 5. So that will be released, I guess, maybe later on today.
Exciting.
And I know. Dean Francis.
I just think it needs to be put out more, these people that are not telling the truth and not being, you know, and these are the people that are on the front putting themselves on the front lines, you know?
Yeah. I remembered, I knew it was going to hit me. So this person I spoke to, she was mentioning, again, remember, she was like more, I guess you'd say more anti than not. But she understood. She says, you know, I do understand that there are people that absolutely use Kratom to help them. And the lesson here is this. She's like, I remember a comment on some Facebook post where there was a lot of negative. And I remember this one person, she even told me his name. I won't say it, but she says, I don't know how I remember his name, but his little 1-paragraph testimony really has stuck with me. And I realized that, wow, this isn't as simple of an issue as you think. It's definitely helping people. And I thought right there, that was a lesson to me that every little thing, you may not think that those little responses that you do are making a difference. Whether it's LinkedIn or X or Facebook, but they are. People are reading them. And even the rotten people that are posting the rotten things, trust me, they're reading them.
Yeah.
And so you never know when you know, like I say, I just encourage people to do that because you never know who's going to be watching that and how that particular testimony could touch somebody like it did this woman.
It's just very on Facebook because Kratom Danger Awareness is trying to control the social media narrative. So if you have a positive comment in somebody's thread, you know, especially like the news stories or something like that, they go and report you. They'll report the comment and or then go report your profile.
Mhm.
So you have to be very wary on Facebook about where you're going to do it because it's
And
so
block-
easy to
and
lose your
block-
account.
And block. That's my thing. That helps a lot too, because then the blockers won't block you because they don't see you.
Yeah. So, you know, it's like, that's what I do on TikTok. Is like, I'm not even going to give you a second of my energy. I'm just going to block you.
Mhm.
You know, I used to want to always correct them, you know, but I've learned after losing so many different accounts that I'm not even going to bother anymore. It's just
Yeah.
like, you're not even wasting my finger tap.
I
you
mean,
know?
you could always just drop your story and peace out. But
Yeah, you
arguing
could
is
do that.
like, it's just here's the link to Cameron's story if anybody
That
wants
was an
to
amazing
read up on it.
article.
And you can also, you know, there's the sources and stuff are all linked.
The
So
hyperlinks
more's
they're
coming?
linked in there.
Do you think more's
Huh?
coming? I'm wondering. You know, we had the Tampa Bay Times, and now we're starting to get this Floridian that's
Yeah.
starting to like go, we got stuff happening. I'm just dying
Mhm.
now because I mean, the fact that we've had 2 stories now come out, you wonder if they're doing more deep investigative reporting
Mhm.
here on this situation.
yeah, Bunny, I
Bunny.
can't even get on Facebook. Like the past few days with the Tennessee ban coming up, like it's sickening. It's sickening.
That's the whole point of controlling the social media narrative. They want all the negative press.
Yep.
Yep.
Anything positive, they'll go and report.
It's
And
just
will they
so,
ever?
it's so messed up.
The addiction centers are just jumping for joy on this Tennessee.
Oh,
They're so excited.
The ones that came to testify, you know, that said dude lost his leg because of kratom. I mean, come on. Anyway, the point is, like, their whole freaking rehab centers is taking a picture with the governor and stuff when they sign the bill. Like, you know, how much more obvious can you be?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yep. So all the stories are coming out about Tennessee, and then they're coming out about Kansas because they go into effect on July 1st. Just breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. All because of lies.
So Kansas, give me an update quick on because you don't have to, but I know that the language was convoluted all over the place. Nobody really. So in a sense, it's sort of like it's different, but it's sort of like a Utah thing. In a sense, it's a ban. Even though
Kansas banned.
yeah.
What's the one I'm thinking though that was the weird language then?
Well, I
was
know
Kansas.
Kansas did have like
those are
just
Ohio.
70H
No,
and
no.
then anything containing 70H, and then, you know, it went back to the governor, and because it would have effectively banned, you know, whole leaf products, and so then she ended up, I guess they ended up changing the wording to everything.
Metragenine.
Yeah.
Well, time will tell because there's going to be, you know, I don't know. I just think that there's going to be a rash of, it's going to be an issue. I'm telling you, you're going to start seeing it more and more. And I think you're going to see, in fact, you know, that's the one thing, you know, algorithms bug me because, you know, they really do suck you in. And so now my stupid TikTok feed, every other person is on 7OH withdrawals. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Let's see all that. But I think that's even going to get more and more popular. And I do think I've seen a couple times this week. I really think now the anti-kratoms are paying influencers to do.
Oh, yeah.
things.
Oh my God.
No, I have no doubt.
It's just, I think a lot of this too, like I've noticed in Tennessee, even if, you know, people are not kratom consumers, when they find out the whole, you know, the talk screen and stuff, like they're mad, and you should be, because it's not right. And I think the more of the stuff that comes out behind the scenes and being called out and showing how this is all set up, like I think people should start waking up.
Right.
You know, even people that aren't kratom consumers.
You need to always question it. And then we get called a bully because we're telling their truths for them.
Yeah.
Like,
just-
come on now.
I would never bully anybody, especially, but I mean, again, like you're publicly saying this is a fact and you're publicly, then why not back it up?
Agreed.
I would.
Agreed. Well, hopefully we'll have a slow week this week with 4th of July and we'll be able to
Take a breath.
take a breath. And things will be good. But there's been good things happening.
There has.
Really encouraging good things. So I mean, everybody, I think though people don't get complacent, especially when I email you a lot, because there's been some that I won't name states, but I've had some disappointments, where I feel like, there were advocates that stood up for one hearing because it maybe affected them, but then they've just written off the rest of their state. And it's like, no, you can't do that, especially in your state. You got to step it up because that affects so much.
Yeah. It's like, even though I live in Colorado and we're currently fine at the moment, something could always pop off. But, I've never stopped advocating in other people's states or cities, or counties.
Yeah.
Because like Jen always says, I'm speaking for the people that have no idea that these hearings are happening.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll say that to I'll say, I have thousands of people that follow me on social media, that have no idea that these hearings are happening either, but we try to drill that home to them when we're testifying.
Yeah.
But it's way better though when you live in that city or state.
It makes all the difference.
Because they act like it's some conspiracy.
No,
when, it's like all these people calling in from blah blah blah. Where's the people that live here?
I'd be asking the same thing. I really would. I mean, I'd be saying, wait a minute, why do I have? But I do say though the emails make a big difference, because how many times have we heard the lawmakers saying, well, gosh, I've received a ton of emails and 95% were all please don't ban. So those emails, I mean, you may not think they're really working, but I'm telling you, it's a numbers thing. And if they get 25 emails on one issue, they step back and think about it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Some do.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, Kate. Kate, you did amazing in DC. Thank you for doing that. Like, she drove hours to get there, Wow.
Kate, I will ask you, are you on my email blast list? If you're not,
get on up on there.
You gotta email me, because we definitely need more people on that list.
Sky, there are. Yeah, I get them.
Well, I'm gonna probably go off. I have to help my mom get a car.
Good luck.
My dad passed, and she's trading in her old cars, and I'm happy for her. So we're trying to find her a car, and I'm surprised how everything's selling so dang fast when they're so expensive.
I know.
I want a car and like, sorry, that one's sold. I'm like, man, maybe I should go into car sales.
All right, we'll get up off her too. What we'll wind up doing, since we stayed on here. Bye, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Laura.
Thanks a lot, guys. Bye-bye.
See you at the next hearing.
Yes.
What we'll wind up doing, since we went over on this, we will just chop up. Oh, Laura left too. Bye, Laura.
Bye, Laura.
We'll just chop up the recap with Mac part, and we'll upload that individually.
Yeah. That way. Oh shoot, that's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one.
I was gonna say, here we are. So again, anybody wants to get involved and make sure that you get notified for your local area.
Mm-hmm.
Send Laura a text. I mean, a freaking email.
Laura at plantsandherbals.org. Send her your name, city, and state. We definitely need to beef up the advocates on the list, because I tell you what, we might see a lot of disappointments in these hearings, but we've seen some wins. We've definitely seen some wins. you
Yeah.
know, and it makes the disappointments worth it, you know.
Yeah. It's like we were talking about fishing last night, me and my kids. And, my son was like, sometimes you get out there and you're fishing for all day and you don't even get a nibble. I was like, but boy, when you do catch a fish, it makes it all better.
Yeah, no,
It's kind of like the hearings, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it might be disappointment after disappointment, but when you do finally get a win, it just makes it that much better.
Because I look at it like even the ones that we do get disappointed in, the conversation started.
Right. And
You
it
know?
may not be during that hearing, and it may not be, but they might even be sitting there in the middle of the night, woke up, can't go back to sleep, and they just happen to think, you know what? Da, da, da. And,
Mhm.
it's planting a seed, like you always say. And
Mhm.
I think that that's a good thing.
Oh yeah.
May
Okay.
not immediately, but,
I know.
Anyway. All right. Well, we're going to go. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks to Mike and Laura for hopping on. I
Yep.
hope
And thank you
everybody
for
has
hanging
a,
out in the chat. Definitely kept the chat.
yeah,
It was on fire.
have a safe 4th of July. Don't blow up anything.
Yeah. No, we want your phalanges. Come back with
Yeah.
your fingers.
Oh, all right. Goodbye, everybody.
Yep. Bye, everybody.
Oh, see you next time. I'm trying to find the thingy. All right, here we go. All right, bye.
Oh, dude, the net.